Have you heard? It seems that learning is cool again. Yeah, it's like cool again. And when something is cool, I'm aware that we have this idea of what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be. We want to go to cool places and learn, higher institutions and cool places. We want to read the coolest books, the ones that everybody else is reading and who the cool people are reading. We want to hear the greatest speakers and the latest gurus like the Dalai Lama out there. And we want to gather together at events like TED events and be inspired and entertained so we can learn cool things. In organizations, we have an idea of who gets to learn in this world. Top potentials, high potentials, executives get to learn. And where they go. Great universities, or in a classroom, or just at home with a puzzle, trying to challenge our brains. And in a corporation, maybe it's a training room. I always ask my clients to get rid of all the desks in the training room when they hire me, and they're always like, no, we want to put desks back in. I'm like, get rid of all the desks. And by all means, for learning to be cool, it's got to be expensive. Because that's how I know I got value out of my learning, because I paid a lot of money for it. We also have an idea of what a teacher is supposed to look like. Maybe they're well-accepted geniuses. Maybe they're the teacher in the front of the classroom. At work, they might be our manager or a supervisor or our parents, or just our family members, friends, and communities. Well, we as humans, we can really make simple things pretty complicated at times, right? What learning's supposed to look like. And I want to try and talk about something that's a little more simple. I had a great mentor early in life that said, Larysa, don't just listen to what people say, watch what they do. So I'm aware that we learn by just observing. What do people model? And some of the most important lessons that I've gathered in life, I learned from an unintentional teacher. And this teacher, he really modeled some of the behaviors that I really want to do well. And I work with people to try and do well. And I hear other people say that they want to do well. But he did it. He really modeled it. I want to show you a picture of my teacher. Are you guys ready to see a picture? Okay, all right. Now, you might be thinking, a couple things at this point. You might be thinking, what's that? And I assure you that's a dog. That's my dog, Bastyr. He's an English Bull Terrier. Now, you may also be thinking, oh man, like, do I have to be a dog or an animal person to get anything out of this presentation? I hope not, but it is a TED Talk, so in the end, you decide what you learn, okay? So I wanted to go through some lessons that I learned from this unintentional, unconventional teacher. And I picked these lessons because they're the ones that I struggle with. I want to do better. And the first one is love unconditionally. We have a lot of conditions on love. We say we love unconditionally, but Bastyr, it didn't matter if I came home with the best deal, the newest, coolest car, got a promotion at work, landed a great client. He didn't care. He just loved me unconditionally. And how often do we put boundaries on what our love is and whether we're going to love them? Say nice things to me and I love you more. Say bad things about me behind my back and I don't like you anymore. What would it be like if we loved unconditionally just a little bit more in this world? Be a good listener. No, oftentimes we say we're a good listener, but really what we're doing is we're trying to solve the other person's problems. Just talking about this TED Talk, I noticed how many people wanted to make me feel better. You're going to do great. What are you nervous about? Well, I just want to tell people I'm nervous. And Bastyr was a great, Bastyr was a great listener. He would just sit there. He wouldn't try and fix me or solve my problem or tell me what it was like to be me. He just listened. And what would it be like if we just listened a little bit more? And there's times when I find myself thinking, I just need to be a little bit more like Bastyr. This is one in customer service, okay? One of the first interactions you have when you walk into an organization or a person's house, place of business, your home, is the greeting. And how often do I walk into an organization and there's the receptionist looking down at the computer, reading the book, on the phone, not welcoming me, and it has an impact. And what I just want to say is, what difference would it make if we greeted people at the door, tails wagging, excited? It's the first experience that person will have of you or your business. Greet people at the door, make them feel welcome. Self-acceptance. Bastyr was really mostly concerned about eating. sleeping and looking out the window in the living room at kind of the world going by. He'd guard the house too, but for the most part, this is what he was. I'll tell you what he was not. He wasn't a frisbee catcher, ball chaser. This dog didn't hunt. He wasn't going to win any races, maybe to the food bowl. And yet, when he looked in the mirror, I think all he saw was himself, and he just accepted himself fully. Actually, when he looked in the mirror, he saw another dog, and he was wondering, how do I get that? How'd that happen? But what do we see when we look in the mirror? I'm not tall enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have the right clothes on. I don't have the right makeup on. I'm the wrong race. I'm the wrong skin color. I'm the wrong gender. Maybe I'm the wrong sexual orientation. What would it be like? What would it be like if we just accepted ourselves a little bit more? So my invitation, embrace your breed, whatever it is. It's what makes us all special. It's what makes us all unique. And it's what makes us all part of a really interesting world. Oh man. We're multitasking. We're doing everything. We're doing multiple events. I'm looking at the clock as I'm trying to talk to you. Bastyr just lived in the moment. He didn't think about the past. He didn't think too much about the future. He just put himself fully into what was going on now. He didn't miss anything because he was worried about what he just did or what he was about to do. Just focused on himself and right now. So I just invite you to just live in the moment a little bit more. We're missing things. We're missing clues. We're missing requests from our loved ones, from our families, from our coworkers, because we're thinking about everything else and not what's going on sometimes right in front of us. It doesn't have to be perfect. Bastyr had this weird thing where he liked to kind of wrap himself up in the curtain. I didn't teach it to him. Kind of like learned it on his own, I don't know how, but really what he was trying to do was sometimes cover his eyes or maybe make like a little cocoon and just kind of comfort himself. And you know, sometimes he got a really good wrap going, and sometimes, you know, it kind of looked like that. But he didn't really worry about it. But we do. We think about perfection, and I just want to invite you to think that perfection is kind of, it's this illusion. It's this illusion that kind of keeps us captive to our own insecurities and fears and stories about how we're supposed to be. As soon as I submitted my proposal for this TED Talk, I thought, I don't know if that's a good one. I should have done this other thing. And no sooner did I send in my slides that I sent an email. Can we change this number 4? Right? And on the way in here, I thought, oh, I'm going to get rid of that last like, so I'm going to do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just recognize when your needs are met, when you're doing the best you can, and be ready to just move on with the next thing. Make people smile. I don't know what to say about this. But, you know, we just do so much better. Smiles are free. We interact better with each other. We learn better when we're smiling. And I know when I could have the worst day ever, and Bastyr just made me smile. And the most effective way to make someone else smile is just smile at them. Treat people with a smile. Speak up when it's important. In his last moments on this earth, Bastyr knew something was wrong with him. And he went over onto his bed, and he just barked a little weak woof. But he got my attention. He didn't worry about interrupting my morning. And thank goodness he did, because if he didn't, he would have died alone. I went over to him, and I offered him some comfort. I knew he was dying, but I was able to be there with him. And how often do we sit on our hands or hold our tongues when we know we have something we can say that's going to change something for the better? So I just invite you, speak up when it's important. Don't worry about it being perfect. And then finally, as you picked up, Bastyr died last year. It's very difficult. I miss him. I still miss him now. This talk is a way of hoping to honor him. But I didn't want to live in that grief. So the last lesson is, grieve the losses. Then love again. Open your heart to new opportunities. And it's because of that lesson that I have Boomer. And here's Boomer at just 8 weeks, my new unintentional teacher, And he's at home teaching me new lessons every day. So here's the final invitation for you. Look around you. There's teachers everywhere. And maybe the teachers, if love is in the eye of the beholder, maybe teachers and lessons are in the minds and in the hearts of the learner. Thank you very much.